Hi everybody, we're here with Michael Sadler from SAGA at the Hard Rock Cafe in Munich, the prime location for doing interviews.
On my day off.
Such as these, on your day off.
On my day off.
How dare they?
I know.
I don't know. What do we have to talk about? There's a lot going on, and the most important thing is actually the saddest thing. You guys call it quits after 40 years. How dare you again?
So indignant. I know.
When did you make the decision to go like, it's gonna be 40 years, come on, let's do this one more time? You know?
It was the beginning of this year. We started hinting at it last year, talking about it, and then at the beginning of this year we thought, well, it's the 40th anniversary. Why don't we, I mean, all good things end eventually. And we just felt it was time after 40 years. It's not about personalities, it's not about the music and not being creative anymore, it's just the road and being away from home a lot and 40 years of touring.
You're in Munich, you're home.
Our second home, I know. Yeah, it was time, it was time. And quite frankly, I think the band right now is really at the top of our game, and I'd rather finish that way than just fading off into the sunset. So,
why did you decide to start your farewell gigs off acoustically? I thought it was just like, I was like, you know, for the very last gig, I imagine you do like
come out with all guns blazing.
Yeah.
Well, we were putting the set together, and it had to be a fairly interesting show, and we knew we were going to have an acoustic moment somewhere in the set. So we thought, well, you know what? Why don't we make a thing of it and be our own support act? So that's literally what we're doing. So we have a backdrop that reflects, it looks like a giant library, and we take about 5 or 6 songs and break them down into acoustic versions, and. It's really interesting because it's harder to do that than the full-on show, because it's under the microscope and things are a lot more, you know, obvious, mistakes especially. It's just piano and a little bit of string, 3 guitars, 3 acoustic guitars, even the drummer's playing acoustic guitar.
Just a little bit of. You got 17 guitars out there. Okay.
But no, but it's a lot of work because you're basically doing 2 shows a night. Essentially, but it's fun. It's fun. People are shocked, and we're calling ourselves Pockets because that was the name of the band in the beginning. So we thought. I
didn't know that.
So we come out as Pockets. We're introduced as Pockets in the voiceover, and then I talk to the audience, not in German, because this brand new band from Canada wouldn't know any German. So we play it up, and you know, I start by saying I want to thank SAGA and their management for you know, for this opportunity to support them.
Do you have a fake mustache or something?
No. I'll probably use the fake mustache for the last German show.
When is the very last SAGA show going to be, and where is it going to take place?
In Rostock, and I believe is it next Saturday? I think it's
really the 18th.
I believe so, yeah. Then we're up to Scandinavia for 2 shows in Copenhagen, 2 shows in Stockholm, 1 in Gothenburg, and then that's it.
Wow.
So, next Saturday.
So there's no final show in Canada?
We may do, right now we're in negotiation for a show in Toronto, which would be absolutely appropriate to do the final show there. It'll probably happen, I don't know if it'll happen before New Year's Eve, around that time, but that should wrap it up. We have one other gig that is lined up for 2018, but we had committed to that already. That's the Cruise to the Edge, the Prague cruise. But that will be the final. Until we look at each other and go, "Can I go back on the road?"
Is that possible?
We'll see. We'll see. We're leaving everything open, but for now, at least a year off of the touring. We'll probably. I mean, there's an album that we need to make. We need to make a final record for sure.
Now I know. You're not the person that kind of wants to look back, as we just found out just recently.
No, it depends. I mean, if it's just facts, then those are all documented. But reflections on the past, yeah.
Is there something in this 40 years where you go like, should have done it differently?
Oh, of course. Everybody can say that about every job. Yeah. But I don't believe in regrets. I don't. You make a mistake or an error in judgment. You learn from your mistakes if it went wrong. If you keep doing the wrong thing, then you're an idiot, and then you've only got yourself to blame, right? yeah, I don't regret anything. There's some things, yes, I probably would have done differently, but.
We all know what you're going to be doing after those final Saga shows. What's the rest of the band going to be doing?
I'm not certain. I know that Jim Gilmore does some keyboard work for other people, probably some session stuff. I don't know that anybody has any definite plans. I was fortunate enough to be hooked up with Excalibur last year with Manfred Hartline's production company, and through that I got invited to do Rock Meets Classic with Matt Sinner and the boys.
That's the first time you're doing this, right?
It is the first time. Yeah.
Why is this the first time?
Why is this the first time, man? He wanted to wait till the 40th anniversary.
Don't ask me because you don't want to have me in the interview.
and I wouldn't like your answer.
You looking forward to this one?
I'm really looking forward to this. It's great. I like doing projects outside of the band, but this looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I've seen the footage from the previous ones, and it looks like it's a huge production.
Do you have any say in what kind of songs you're going to be playing?
No, I do what I'm told. I'm just a hired gun. I'll do whatever Matt says. Was that the right answer?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think... No, actually, I don't know this. Have you played with Saga with an orchestra ever?
The band hasn't. I've sung with an orchestra before, but the band has never done it, although we've wanted to for years. I mean, it's such an obvious thing to do with the kind of music that we play.
Yeah,
I know. And there's one album that we had, this conceptual album called Generation 13, 13th Gen. Custom made for an orchestra, but it never came together. Maybe that's what we'll do. We'll take a year off and put that together and come back with a nice idea.
Dun, dun. Yeah. I want one credit.
You got it.
Thank you, guy from radio.
Yeah, but I mean, singing with an orchestra, there's nothing like it. You ask any singer, the power of an orchestra behind you. It's different than a loud rock band, for example. The power comes from amplification and the vibe. The organic nature of an orchestra is quite something. When you hit a very big chorus in your song and you've got all these violins and everything, it's pretty cool.
How do you choose a set list for the final show?
A lot different. It's a lot different than choosing a set list for your very first show, because you only have one album. For example, we started out, we have 8 songs. Yeah. We had other ones, but 8 songs that people know. So how do you fill an hour and a half or 2 hours? Now it's what don't you play? Because no matter what you do, you're going to leave that room that night and someone's going to go, you didn't play my favorite song. It's like, well, you know, we have 21 albums, you know, over 200 songs to choose from. So. But what you try and do, especially on a 40th anniversary, is a cross-section of as much as possible. I wouldn't say there's a song from every album, but it's pretty well represented. So.
Oh, I'm going to be excited.
It's hard. It's fun. It's a challenge, let's put it that way.
Do you think that Saga, over the years and over your whole career, that the band got as much appreciation as it deserved? Or do you think sometimes it was underrated?
I think we got the appreciation we deserved from the people who knew about us.
It's almost a political answer.
It is slightly politically correct to say that. Diplomatic is what...
was there ever a chance to be more mainstream? To be bigger?
Well, there's always a chance to be more mainstream. A lot of that has to do with luck. A lot of it has to do with how the record company presents you and promotes you. Depends on pushing a certain market and that kind of thing. Musically, we've never compromised. We tried all kinds of different directions. Not drastically, but branched off and tried this and that, because you can't just put up the same kind of album every year. Yeah. I think we could have been slightly larger in USA, for example, but we stopped touring there after Heads or Tails, and just concentrated on the market that is fertile for the band, which is Germany and most of Europe. So.
Yeah, yeah. What was the most difficult album for you to write?
Generation 13, for sure.
Yeah.
because it was a conceptual thing, and you know how the story goes from beginning to end. It was done like a jigsaw puzzle, recording-wise. It was very tricky because we had a big chart on the wall, and you've got all these boxes. You've got the parts, you've got the keyboards, drums, guitar, bass, and then the song titles down the side. And all these little boxes, every time you finished a track on that, the guitars are done on that song, and you cross it off. So that's sitting over at the wall. Jim and I were sitting at the console one day, and it seemed like it was taking forever. And we were like, wow, and we look over at the chart, and it was like, yeah, we're not getting anything done. And I said, hang on a second. And I walked over to the chart and I realized everything was black, all the boxes, but we were filling in the crosses with a pencil. So you can barely see it. I went over and I said, I grabbed a Sharpie and I started doing all the X's and I sat back down and I said, there you go. I said, we're halfway done. But it just, because we were doing, it wasn't a matter of, okay, let's go in all together and do that song. We had most of the bed tracks done. Then it was, okay, Ian, do you feel like doing guitars today? Which song do you want to work on? You know, same with the vocal. You know, let's do a vocal day tomorrow. Oh, I feel like working on that song or whatever. So in that respect, it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot of work making it cohesive and making everything fit, and then the orchestration came afterwards.
Oh, okay.
It was a big project.
Yeah, I can see that. You know, you've been in the business for so long. What is the greatest myth that you think is wrong about rock and roll now that you look back and you have all the routine that you need and all the experience and you've seen everything? You must have seen everything.
Pretty much, yeah.
What's the biggest myth?
That things are still the way that they were in like the days of The Who and Led Zeppelin throwing TVs out windows of hotel rooms and stuff like that. In fact, and the whole drug scene and all that, the biggest myth today is that lifestyle still exists. And you'll find 9 times out of 10 that musicians are looking after themselves on the road. Because they realize that you have a very short shelf life if you're abusing yourself every night after the show.
Well, wait till you go out with Matt.
Well, yeah, you see, that's it. I say that now, and then Rock Meets Classic is going to go out on the road, and then everything's going to change. But no, it's that more than anything, you know. And it's not quite as glamorous a life as people might think. You know, there's some not so much fun traveling parts and stuff, but overall, I recommend it. After
SAGA is over or done for this time, and Rock Meets Classic is over, what are your plans?
It depends on the project. I get presented projects all the time. I become a hired gun. I want to do a follow-up to my first solo CD. Eventually, this will give me time to do that. Spend more time with my son. Thank goodness for Skype, because it keeps you in contact with the family. But yeah, I mean, I love doing, you know, it depends on the song, depends on the project. I will get approached and I will say, well, yeah, yes, I would like to, I'm interested. You know, give me what you've got, show me what you know, tell me what you have in mind, and I'll let you know. But 9 times out of 10, I'll say yes. Nice. I haven't been offered any country songs yet, so maybe that's a whole area I could invest in.
You don't want to touch this, do you?
I don't know. You see, that's the thing about it. To me, good music is good music. It doesn't matter about the genre. If it's well done and it's well produced, good melody, good lyrics, and that. It can be country, it could be hip hop, it could be heavy metal, it could be prog. A good song is a good song, and that's just all there is to it.
But you got some personal, you know, favorites. I mean, I cannot imagine that country or hip hop is one of your, you know.
Schlager has become my favorite, actually. SAGA was thinking of doing a Schlager record. SAGA Schlager. What do you think? It's got a ring to it.
I laughed about that when Richie Blackmore said that. But he is so much into Schlager, he knows all the German Schlager people. Hansi Hinterseer and what's the guy? Florian? Yeah, Florian Silbereis. And he meant it.
Listen,
he was
I'm telling you,
about
this is an untapped market for us. We played at the beginning of the tour, I can't remember which city it was. But we were leaving, we had to pass it on the way in and then pass it on the way out. In the arena, Helen Fisher was going to be playing there for 5 nights. Sold out.
I know.
And we're passing it to do like a 1,000-seat club or whatever, and I'm going, are you sure we're playing the right kind of music? 5 nights sold out Schlager. So we thought about doing a SAGA Schlager album.
The future looks bright.
It does look, it looks great. You know, it's just a little adjustment in your thinking, perhaps your wardrobe, but...
And your wig.
I look great in lederhosen, I'm telling you right now.
Is there... We need one picture for the internet of you.
In lederhosen?
Yeah. We need that now to prove that.
We'll take it at the Hofbrauhaus.
Good. So the future looks bright. Everything's lovely. I have no more further questions. Is there anything I forgot you to ask?
Yes. You forgot to ask me what I'm having for lunch.
Oh, there's finger food always coming up, right?
Finger
food? It's not here yet.
I'm sick of fingers. I have enough fingers. I've had it up to here with fingers.
Well, we're going to miss you until you come back 2019.
I'll be
2019,
back.
Sorry.
I'll be back. We'll be back, I'm sure of it. I mean, you know.
Good. Well,
we'll see.
Nice talking to you. Not for the last time, I hope.
No, I doubt it.
All right, next one.
Next.
Rockantenne, der beste Rock nonstop.